Welcome back to Discovering an Educated Life. Today, I'm doing something a little bit different. I have a massive pile of books next to me, and I'm going to be doing a book haul of all the books I bought over the last couple weeks, preparing for the upcoming 6 weeks of school, and also just stuff I've picked up at the thrift store for the upcoming years ahead. Some of them even quite a bit in the future. So I just want to dig in and share that with you. So for starters, this is in no rhyme or reason. There is no order here. I'm just going to be sharing them with you. Before I get into this giant pile of books, I actually want to ask you to just like or subscribe to this channel if you're interested in hearing about the books we use in our homeschooling and hearing about good books to read. If you're interested in homeschool curriculum or what we're doing using My Father's World this year, any literature-based curriculum. If you're interested in any of that, please subscribe because I have lots of content coming. So I'm just gonna dig right in. Again, no rhyme or reason to these. They're just in whatever order I have them coming out of this massive stack of books next to me. So first we have The Story of Eli Whitney. This is by Jean Lee Latham. Some of these books I ordered specifically to go with stuff we have going on. Others are thrift store books and they're just mixed in. This is actually a sunlight curriculum book. It says on the back. We're gonna be, obviously, when we learn about the cotton gin, we'll be learning about Eli Whitney coming up. So that was a thrift books order. We have giant, this is Better World books. Lots of different used places I found things. Sorry about that. Our Yard is Full of Birds. This looks like an ex-library book. This one is one I've been searching for a while, and it was like super expensive, and I love the two little cardinals. We actually have a window feeder that we've had tons of cardinals at this year, and this one is just about bird identification. It's super simple, and it talks about different types of birds, and we're learning birds, so that's perfect. This is called Lucy's Summer, and just want to show you like nice artwork. I don't remember why I ordered this one or got this one, but it looks interesting. I think I also ordered Lucy's Christmas. I don't know if I got that one yet because I have more books coming, and I'll have another video with even more in the next coming weeks. Snowflake Bentley. We're actually going to be doing this when we do Vermont, but we also have joined Read Aloud Revival, and they had an old lesson plan that's from like in the past where they had done Snowflake Bentley, so we'll also be using that one. Just the little lessons that went with it. And I also did get another book I'll share with you. So this book, it's like Creative Haven Snowflake Designs coloring book. I actually ordered this from Amazon, and it's the actual pictures, and they have perforated pages so you can rip it out. These are like inspired. This is like an actual microscope image. I'm sorry, I'm like stumbling over my words here. So they took one of Snowflake Bentley's images of snowflakes, and they made it into a coloring book. The whole thing is that. So when we do our little Snowflake Bentley unit, I'm going to be using this Creative Haven coloring book. And we actually have read this a couple times when we studied seasons and stuff in the past, but I think it'll be perfect this year when we do Vermont. So Saffron Ice Cream. This is about a little girl. You see, she lives in New York City, and I think she's from Iran. And she's like talking about the differences in the beach in New York or New Jersey. I think it's New York, compared to the beach in Iran. So that's a really like culturally relevant book for Abby to understand immigration and things going on today as well when we're doing our state studies. Basket Moon. No idea which one this is for, but it's something I ordered. It came, I don't even have the package here that it came in, but this one I think is about, it's about a family of basket weavers. I love some of the pictures and stuff in this one, who travel into the city, and then the little boy hears like, somebody call his dad a hillbilly, and then he's like questioning like his dad's life and his own choices if he wants to be a basket maker still after hearing like somebody he looks up to talk derogatively toured. So he, here's like the little picture, and they're basket weavers. I thought this was a really cool book. I'm not sure where this one came from. It's another order of things. This is What Are You Figuring Now? A Story of Benjamin Banneker. This one is one, it has really, it's more like a chapter book. So that one is maybe one that I'll have her read, have my daughter read. And then this one I've been really excited about. It's Louisa May and Mr. Thoreau's Flute. So it's Henry David Thoreau and Louisa Alcott. And how these like nature excursions they took inspired some of her poetry. I'm just looking at some of the pictures. So I thought that was a really interesting one to do for as we're doing our United States studies. And here's another one. This one I was really excited. It's the Little House Cookbook. It's like an older scholastic version of that. Obviously it was probably a teacher's, it's scholastic. And it just has like a lot of recipes, like tons and tons of recipes. So if you've been following my channel, you know that we're doing Adventures in U.S. History with My Father's World. Sorry, I had to think about it for a second, what I was trying to say. And in that, we just started reading Farmer Boy, and we'll be reading On the Banks of Plum Creek. And we've actually read Little House in the Big Woods and Little House in the Prairie in the past. And we've actually, this is our second time through Farmer Boy. So I thought this would be a good addition to our curriculum. It's a pretty thick cookbook, too, with a lot of recipes. So I thought this would be a nice addition that we could do some cooking and baking with that book. This is Discover Books. Tons of these book orders here. This one, I will show you. We have Surya and Roscoe. This is one that I thought looked really good to read as we're doing our studies of different, I think these might be animals from a state we're studying. I'm not sure. I just thought there's probably a reason I ordered that one. I'm not positive. Fine Feathered Friends. This is poetry by Jane Yolen about birds, because we're doing our bird studies. And we're actually doing the flying animals of the 5th day for science lately. So I thought that one would be a good addition as well. This is a story inspired by the Jubilee Singers, A Band of Angels. It's like a good book. Pioneer Girl. We actually have read this a couple times. We had it from the library, and this looks like an old library copy as well, but it's the story of Laura Ingalls Wilder. And this one is called Going Someplace Special. There's the inside, and it's about the story of this little girl going to the library in segregated Nashville. So it's just kind of like using some of these books here as we do our state studies to introduce like Black History Month next month in February. So I tried to get some books to go along with our state. So this I think we'll use with Tennessee, because I know I've read this one before. I'm pretty sure I've read this one to her before, because we used to live near Nashville. So that's definitely one we'll be using. Now these ones, this is a thrift store book I picked up. It's Courier and Ives. This is like my favorite thing ever. Printmakers to the American People by Harry T. Peters. This is like $4.50. The pictures in this book, and as I flipped it open to look through it, I was just blown away by the pictures in this book to use with my daughter. I'm trying to find just some different, this is like burning New York. I mean, there are so many cool pictures in this. I know I found some of like the presidents. Here's George Washington. So for us studying, it's a thick, huge book. And for us studying American history this year, I thought this was a really cool find at the thrift store. Not positive what year this one was, but I loved all the pictures. It was just so perfect for this year of school. The Good Old Days. This is another super cool book. I could not leave it. You ever find books like this and you just can't leave them on the shelf? Like, if you do, tell me, because I'm like that. I saw this book and I was like, I will never find this again, let alone for $2. So it has to come home with me today. I don't know that there was like a specific need of mine, but I couldn't leave this on the shelf. Like, it just wasn't allowed to stay there. So I started digging into this and realized it's just like the history of like how people lived in earlier times, and mostly what appears to be like in America, the family cow, like it's just how people lived in the past. And there's pictures and information. It has like a whole section on samplers. Like, I could not leave this book on the shelf like at all. It has like the family cemetery, like just anything you could think of about how people used to live is in this book called The Good Old Days. Don't know anything else about the book. I was quickly getting through the thrift store because I had some, okay, so it's copyright 1960 by F&W Publishing, and it was printed in the US. It doesn't really tell me a whole lot else about it. It's just it has the village and community, the home and the fields. There's like a little content section here, and it's all broken down into things that would be there. And then the day's work, lore and myth, special events, and then transition and destiny. I literally couldn't leave it there for $2. Like, no way I could leave this on the shelf for $2. So wasn't an option. Now, this book I was a little disappointed in here. It came in this little pack by itself. So we've read this book a few times. We read it this year at Thanksgiving, and my daughter was like, can we please buy that? Because it's just something she kept asking for, and it has sat on our shelf forever. So I was like, we will buy it. I'm not on our shelf. It has sat on our shelf forever from the library. We kept having to take it back, and then it'll sit on our shelf for a couple months because she likes it, and we would take it back. And so that's happened in the past and this year. And look how little this little itty bitty book is. And it's like this little paperback, Molly's Pilgrim. It's a really good book about a girl that realizes she's from Russia, and she realizes that she is a modern day pilgrim. But it's like this reader size Scholastic edition. It did not tell me that when I was ordering this, because I paid the same price, like $4 for this, as I did as some of these other books. And it's just like the print had to be a lot smaller because of how they did it. And the original one that I had, the pictures were like, it was much bigger how everything was set up. And this book was like big. It's like a huge hardback book. And I wasn't super thrilled with this being this small. So, I mean, she got the book and she owns it now, but it's not what I thought it was going to be. Now, this is a DVD. I know this is a book haul, but I found this at the thrift store for $2. It's called America the Beautiful. And it has like 3 discs. It's a Blu-ray, and it has like all of the national parks. And we actually have a book we've been reading on the national parks as we go through our state. So that was a really good find in addition to this. This book I found at the thrift store called The President Stuck in the Bathtub, but it's poems about the presidents. I don't know that we're going to use this one this year. It looks like a really fun poetry book, but we have a poetry book of the states, and I'm not focusing super hardcore on presidents this year. I think when she's a little older, when we go through our next round of American history, we'll come back to where we do a little bit more president fact memorization and just learning a little more about them. We learned about some key presidents, but I don't think we're going to learn like all of them in order this year. I'm not focusing on that. Like, that's not a key focus. So if she wants to look at this, I'm just going to put it on the shelf. And hopefully when we come back to this in a few years, to American history time period, she will still be interested in that. I also found this one. This is Abe Lincoln, Stand Tall, Abe Lincoln. I've never read this one, but I know we have like a little mini unit on Abe Lincoln coming up. So I grabbed that one. This is more of a curriculum thing than a book, but it's Spectrum Writing. I found this like brand new from the thrift store, and it says grade 2. I have a 3rd grader, but this is pretty on level with where she's at in writing. Some good writing practice, at least, she can get out of this, even if some of it's a little easier. She's not a fan, a lot of like writing, like the writing process. So I thought this would be, it's no writing in it at all. So for $1, I literally couldn't leave that on the shelf either. That was something I felt the need to pick up. This is called Mailing May, and it's like from when the post office was newer and the railroads have already been laid, and they mail their daughter to see their grandparents across the country, or to see her grandparents. And it's like, obviously you can't do that today and there's restrictions, but it's about the mail system. This one I picked up for next year. It's called The Funny Little Woman, and it's like folktale from Japan. So I thought, we're doing ECC next year as kind of our tentative plan. We're at least doing some type of cultural studies for next year. So that one looks like it would be good for then. This book is for way in the future. It's called Bomb. It used this in, I believe, Sunlight J, and we've always looked at Sunlight J since it came out and thought we want to do that here sometime. And I don't know that we'll ever do it, but this would be applicable. We like to try to like mix some of the books in from Sunlight to Our My Father's World. So this one would be applicable even if we don't do J. We either may do it, or we could use it when we come through our second round of American history when she's in like 7th or 8th grade. I know it's a long time to wait, but it's a really nice thick book, and it was only $1. I just couldn't leave that on the shelf for that either. Bill and Pete Go Down the Nile. So we won't be covering ancient history probably until about 5th grade, and this may be a little below her level at that point, but we've already read quite a bit about Egypt in 2nd grade, and I thought she might just enjoy this as a fun reader, or if not, it would still in 5th grade, she might enjoy just this as a fun little quick reader one afternoon. This one is Sam Johnson and the Blue Ribbon Quilt. I've never heard of this book. It looked good, and we're going to be kind of doing like a mini unit, I think, of like a week or so on quilts. I'm kind of tentatively planning that. It's something, I have a few quilt books that kind of came from some of the state studies and came from some other stuff that I was mixing together, and I was like, you know what? I want to do a little just quilt unit instead of doing those where they were planned with states and stuff. This book we've read plenty, and we actually have a few other Stregonona books, and we realized for some reason we don't have this one a while ago. I don't think we ever bought the original. So my daughter saw this one and was like, let's get the original Stregonona, and it was 70 cents. So we threw that in the cart. This one will look good for St. Patrick's Day. It's by Margaret Hodges. It's St. Patrick and the Peddler. So I picked that up. This one is called Purple Mountain Majesties, and ironically, we are learning that this week, and we went to the thrift store, and so it worked out perfectly that we're learning America the Beautiful, and it's the story of Catherine Lee Bates in America the Beautiful, and we have another book on the shelf that I had pulled out to do along with it, but this is like the actual story of Catherine Lee Bates. So next week, we're doing that for a few weeks. Next week, I'm going to pull this book out and read for America the Beautiful. So now this one is called How Nearly Everything Was Invented. This is a DK book, and I thought it's like obviously an older one, but I thought it was neat. It has these like flaps that open, and it's literally like everything that was invented. Like it has a lot. It has like even computers, the modern car. I'm trying to see. I know we're going to do a small unit this year on inventors and inventions. So I thought this would be good for that. And throughout all of our studies, this is kind of one of those books that like you can use different years as you study history. This is just like a bunch of firsts and inventions. So I thought that is a like multi-use book for multiple years. This one, when we come back to ancient history, this is the Kingfisher Book of the Ancient World. And that'll probably be around 5th grade. So that says from like the Ice Age to the fall of Rome. So probably like this is like a 5th or 6th grade book from Kingfisher I found. And it's just like breaking down ancient civilizations a little bit more in depth. That's what it is. Like as we study different time periods, I think this might be a useful book for my daughter. That's why I picked it up. It looks like it has some good maps and stuff, and it's Kingfisher. This book is enormous. This was a really cool find also. It's called Character Sketches from the Pages of Scripture Illustrated in the Animal World. So this is a huge book. Like it's not little at all, like really large. And it's exactly what it says. It's Rand McNally, I think it said. Is that who it was? It was, Yes, printed by Rand McNally in 1976. And so it's like literally what it says, that they are doing character sketches. So like how they took a character and described the character from the Bible, or the character of how somebody should act or respond or something, using things from nature. Like, I've never seen a book like this. So I like, again, one of those books that was like, I can't leave that sitting there. I just thought it was so unique to what it was. I don't know theologically if it's sound. I'm not sure about anything like that. So it's not something I'm recommending. It's just, it was such a cool book that I felt like I couldn't leave it sitting there. Like, I mean, I can't go through and show you all this. I might even do like a flip through of this book once I read a little of it to see like and describe how unique this book is, because I've never seen anything else like it. So I thought that was like $3. And there's the character sketches from scripture from the Institute and Basic Youth Conflicts. Never seen anything like this before in my life. So I had to pick that up. This is Thornton Burgess. We have the animal book, the bird book, and we also have read Reddy Fox, and this is just another from that series of his. It's just a chapter book, and my daughter saw it and grabbed it up. So this I found, and I'm not even sure what I'm going to do with it. We don't need a math curriculum, but I may supplement. This is Horizon 1 and 2 for grade 2. My daughter's doing second grade Singapore, and I think that might be a little more advanced than this. It even had the teacher's guide, and it was $5, and none of this is written in. So $5 for a total math curriculum. Like, again, sometimes I see stuff and I'm like, if I leave that on the shelf, it's kind of like FOMO intense with homeschooling, that like, if I leave that on the shelf, I can't imagine leaving it there. Like, that is $100 math curriculum, and I felt like if I left it there, I would regret it, because I could use it to supplement with, if nothing else, or I could bless somebody else that's a homeschool family with an entire math curriculum, like from co-op, that might need something for a second grader. And it was $5. Like, I couldn't pass that up. So I'm going to look through it and see if there's anything that I could use for like morning practice, because I've been implementing some morning time practice drills and stuff like that for my daughter. Even though she does Singapore as her curriculum, I like to touch base. I like to touch math twice a day. I'm realizing that I like to do some maybe flashcards or a fun worksheet that she enjoys or something like that, just to practice math facts in the morning. And then I like to do her actual lesson in the afternoon. So I think that one of these books might work out for some of that practice in here. So I hope you liked my book haul. I bought a lot of books, and I have more coming. I have lots and lots of books. So I have lots more coming your way. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe to my page if you're interested in seeing my lots and lots and lots of books and hear about our homeschool curriculum and our homeschool journey. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.